A breaking news report flashed. Plutonium had been stolen by a Libyan group. Moments later, Marty McFly was at his friend Dr. Brown's house, playing his electric guitar, causing the speaker to explode. Dr. Brown called urgently, asking Marty to meet him at the mall at 1:15 a.m. But all the clocks are 25 minutes behind. Marty rushed, grabbing his skateboard, realizing he was late for school. At school, Jennifer reminded him the teacher was looking for him due to his lateness. Marty explained it was Dr. Brown's fault, but the teacher scolded him, warning him to stay away from the mad scientist. During a band audition, the judges interrupted, unimpressed by their performance. Feeling defeated, Marty was comforted by Jennifer, who reassured him that it wasn't the end. At home, Marty's father George endured insults from the bully Biff. Over dinner, Marty's mother mentioned how she met his father when he was hit by her grandfather's car. Marty realized how small moments could shape the future in unexpected ways, and his thoughts swirled with the irony of time's unpredictable influence. She recalled how she had pitied him, gotten to know him, and danced with him at a school event. Later, Dr. Brown called and urgently asked Marty to bring the camera. When Marty arrived, the doctor stepped out of a strange-looking car and excitedly introduced his latest invention. He asked Marty to record the moment and announced, "I am Dr. Brown, standing in the shopping mall parking lot on October 26, 1985. This is time travel experiment number 1. He placed his dog, Einstein, in the car, activated a wireless device, and accelerated the vehicle to 88 miles per hour, causing it to vanish before their eyes. Dr. Brown was overjoyed. The invention had worked. A stunned Marty asked where the car and dog had gone. The doctor explained that Einstein had become the first time traveler sent 1 minute into the future. Exactly 1 minute later, the car returned with the dog inside. The clock on Einstein's collar was 1 minute ahead of Marty's. Dr. Brown entered the car and explained how the time machine worked. The user inputs the desired date, and the machine transports them to that moment. He demonstrated by inputting his own birth date and explained that the machine ran on plutonium, which he had obtained by tricking a Libyan group who had asked him to build a bomb. As he prepared to travel 25 years into the future, the Libyans arrived in a minibus and opened fire. They killed Dr. Brown and nearly killed Marty, but their gun jammed. Marty escaped in the time machine, setting the date to 1955. When the car hit 88 miles per hour, he was transported to that year. Arriving at the same location, he found himself in the past. Confused residents mistook the car for an aircraft and fired at him. He fled and saw the early construction of the building he would live in decades later. However, he soon realized the plutonium was depleted. He was stuck in 1955. As he explored the town, he marveled at seeing it as it was in the 1950s. The clock tower was intact. "This has got to be a dream," he said. A newspaper confirmed it was November 5th, 1955. He entered a cafe where the owner commented on his odd outfit. Marty tried calling Dr. Brown but got no answer, so he tore out a page with the doctor's address. While seated, someone called out his family name. He turned to see Biff, the same bully from the present, mocking a young man, his father George McFly, who was sitting next to him. Biff and his friends teased George for not doing their homework. Marty was stunned to see his father at the same age as himself. George left the cafe, and Marty followed. He ended up saving him from being hit by a car, an accident his mother had described earlier. However, this time the car struck Marty instead. George ran off, and the driver took Marty home. When he awoke, he found a younger version of his mother sitting beside him, clearly infatuated. He spent time with her family. His grandmother remarked that he looked familiar and asked if she knew his mother. He vaguely replied, "You could say that." Meanwhile, his young mother became increasingly drawn to him, though he wanted nothing more than to leave. He headed to Doc Brown's house, knocked on the door, and was let in. Marty explained that he had come from the future using a machine Doc himself had invented and now needed help getting back. At first, Doc didn't believe him, but when Marty mentioned the bruise on his forehead, he began to consider it. They went to see the time machine, and after examining it and watching Marty's video recordings, Doc was overjoyed. He had indeed invented something groundbreaking. However, Doc pointed out that plutonium was extremely rare in 1955, and without it, Marty couldn't return. He explained that the time machine required an enormous amount of electrical energy. Marty then remembered the lightning strike that would hit the clock tower the next Saturday and showed Doc the flyer from the future. Doc agreed they would harness the lightning to send Marty back, but he warned that Marty must stay under the radar, as his actions could affect the future. Marty promised, but admitted he had already met his parents. They looked at a photo of Marty and his siblings, noticing his brother was starting to fade. This meant his parents' relationship might not happen, and he could cease to exist. They now had only a week to fix things. Marty went to school to help his parents fall in love. He saw his father being bullied and stepped in, befriended him, and tried to introduce him to Lorraine. But she became fixated on Marty instead. Doc told him, He had to ensure his parents met, no matter what. Marty saw a poster for the school dance, where they originally fell in love, and tried to convince his father to ask Lorraine. But he refused. That night, Marty disguised himself in a spacesuit to persuade his father, who finally agreed. But Biff appeared, and after Marty punched him, Biff and his gang chased him. Marty managed to trick them into crashing into a manure truck. Meanwhile, Lorraine's interest in Marty only deepened. Later, Doc explained how they channel the lightning through electrical wires to power the time machine. Just then, Lorraine knocked on the door and asked Marty to the dance. The big day arrived, both the lightning strike and the dance. Marty wanted to warn Doc about the Libyans who would kill him, but Doc refused, saying he didn't want to know the future. Instead, Marty wrote a letter explaining everything and sealed it with a note: "Do not open until 1985. He slipped it into Doc's jacket. At the dance, Biff and his gang showed up. Marty got out of the car to find Biff forcing himself on Lorraine, while his gang locked Marty in a car trunk. The real owners, the band playing at the dance, freed him. At the same time, George McFly saw Biff harassing Lorraine, repeated to himself that he had to stand up just once, and punched Biff. That moment, Lorraine fell in love with him. Marty checked the photo. His brother was still missing, and now his sister was fading. The band's guitarist was injured, so Marty played the guitar himself. As George and Lorraine danced, his siblings reappeared in the photo. Before leaving, Marty told them that if they ever had a son, not to punish him for burning the carpet at age 8. With everything in place, it was time to return to the future. They set the time coordinates to the exact moment Marty had left. Doc found the letter but tore it up, saying he couldn't risk knowing the future. At that moment, the cable above the clock tower snapped. Marty, frustrated that Doc had destroyed the letter, set the time machine 10 minutes earlier, hoping to reach him in time. Doc nearly fell from the tower while fixing the cable. The lower cable disconnected, and he rushed to reconnect both in time. As the lightning struck, Marty hit 88 miles per hour and traveled back to the future, but the car stalled. Meanwhile, the Libyans drove past, and Marty followed them, witnessing them shoot Doc. He also saw himself reliving the same events from earlier. Reaching Doc, he was shocked to find him alive. Doc had worn a bulletproof vest. Despite tearing the letter, curiosity led him to read it secretly. Marty returned home to find everything changed. His house looked better, his parents were successful, and his once timid father was confident. Even Biff now worked for them, cleaning their car. Marty had his own car, and life seemed perfect. Jennifer, his girlfriend, came to see him, but suddenly Doc showed up and told Marty, "You have to come with me to the future." Marty asked why. Doc replied, "It's about your kids, you and Jennifer's children."